Nerd sandwich, comics, movies, nerd things, sandwiches. Woo, 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 woo. Hello and welcome to our first episode of the Nerd Sandwich Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Juan.
And I'm John.
And we're here for Nerd Sandwich. Hooray. Thanks for joining us.
Got so many, thanks, man. I got so many sandwiches to nerd out about.
All these things. I'm so hungry.
Yeah, I'm actually hungry too.
Is gonna be, no, I'm really hungry though.
No, I mean, I'm really hungry.
Well, I'm more. Yeah, man. So today's discussion, we're going to get into the movie we've all been waiting for.
Spider-Man
Homecoming. Oh, man. Dude, I was so excited to finally go see this movie. I'm like the biggest Spider-Man fan.
Oh, I love Spider-Man. He's great.
I love him more than you.
It's
all the show is. It's just we try to one up you the whole time. No, man, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. If you haven't seen it, you got to go see it. We strong multiple thumbs
strongly,
up.
Strongly, I suggest watching it. Recommended in every degree.
I strongly advise.
I strongly. Yeah. So we're going to talk about just like really quick, just some things that we liked about it, not without spoilers. So we do have a spoiler warning ahead, but like for now we just have our thoughts. But one of my favorite things, characters. Characters are great. Villains, heroes, side characters, everyone else. I just thought it was a really good movie of just people that came alive. Yeah. They weren't just, I didn't think there was one character that was just like, that was just copied and pasted there. There were key characters that they all had purpose. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. I'd say mine kind of branches off of more or less what yours is. I really like the writing. Like a lot of the writing felt like it was, it just flowed naturally. Like it's almost as if the director was kind of like, this is the general gist of the scene and action. And it's like the actors were just kind of like themselves. I felt like we were watching a movie on Tom Holland, Michael Keaton, and Robert Downey Jr. interact. And that's what I thought was really cool. Yeah, it was awesome. It was just like these three people are interlocked in fate, and they need to understand like that they had a reason to. They had a reason for everything. Yeah, yeah. Do you have another thing that you liked? I really liked the supporting roles, I guess, in general. Like I know I kind of mentioned the characters, but like the people that help Spider-Man that interact with him directly didn't feel forced. It felt like they were part of his life before any of this happened. They weren't just like, oh yeah, you have your new best friend, Harry Osborn, or some other character. They were actually invested in his life and cared about him. Yeah. And Aunt May didn't seem forward. Like everyone just seemed to fit. Yeah. No, most definitely. I really liked how they tied Spider-Man in to the Marvel universe. Like they didn't really waste any time in doing that, but what they did give us was a ready establishment. Like, okay, we already know he's here. Here's how he got here. And now this is the Spider-Man story. Here you go. We're not gonna waste your time in unnecessary origin stories. Yep. And they did it. I think they were aware of that, and they did it with humor. Yeah. That's which is kind. I mean, if I had another favorite like that humor, man, it was great. It was funny, and it didn't. A lot of the humor didn't feel forced. I know sometimes some humor in movies is just kind of like, ugh. Yeah. But this was funny. Yeah. Like this is how Spider-Man's supposed to be in the comics, and they really did a good job bringing it to the screen. There were no like knock joke, and then you're like, okay. wasn't like Michael Bay Transformers style. Yeah, it's like the awkward silence after a quip, and you're just kind of like, why is this here? Yeah, it just flowed. Rating, I would give it a 9. I would give it a 9 out of 10. Why not a full 10? Because I think there were just, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I'm with you. I'm with you on the 9. And I think why I didn't that just at one point, and maybe even if going into decimals, 9.5. Maybe even higher, maybe like, but I guess the only thing I didn't like about it, and this isn't even really, I wish there was more. Maybe, and I don't know if I could hold that against the movie. Yeah. But I wanted more of like just Spider-Man fights, and I wanted more. But not that there was. But I mean, there were plenty of Spider-Man fights, and we saw a lot of action, and I thought that was cool. Maybe without spoiling, maybe I just wanted more of him learning how to do things. But yeah, Yeah, and I think it's more like it was more along the lines of like some things weren't loyal to the comics exactly, like some tiny details here and there. You're like, oh man, I don't know if you'd do that, or I don't know if so and so would do something like that. Yeah. So it was just tiny cosmetical things, but overall, I absolutely loved the movie. I love the way the suit looked.
I love the way he was Peter Parker and Spider-Man, something that we finally get to see. You know, where Maguire was a better Peter Parker and Andrew Garfield was a better Spider-Man, you see here Tom Holland was
both
a fantastic cocktail of both. That was totally gnarly.
Yeah.
So without getting into more specifics here, we're going to give a disclaimer now that we're going to go into extreme spoiler territory. So if you guys haven't seen the movie, it's in theaters now. We strongly recommend you guys go check it out. It's an awesome movie. You won't be disappointed. And as an added bonus, you can go see the movie and then come back and listen to the rest of our podcast.
That's like 2 points right there.
It's basically Spider-Man 2.
That's what we're covering. So you should come back. We have some pretty great stuff, and we think we're pretty funny. So
we hope we are.
So you should come back, please.
All right, man. Well, thank you guys. And then for those who did see the movie, feel free to keep listening because we're about to give you a full entree course of our nerd sandwich.
So some of the things I wanted to mention, like, so this Adrian Toomes thing, I was trying to put myself in his shoes. Like, if I was working it, if I had a job, and I'm like, I'm gonna get to salvage alien stuff. That's exciting.
I get to keep all this stuff to myself.
I'm gonna go salvage some alien corpses and some little shiny things. That sounds awesome. And then like you're 10 minutes into it. No, I don't know how they look like they were deep in it because he said he ordered trucks. And I don't even know how trucks work.
Well, yeah, because I mean it's all after Avengers, and so you're just kind of like, oh man, they're going on, and like there's like truckloads. Yeah, I swear he's got like company trucks that say his name on the side. And
this
everything.
Man's like, I've hit the jackpot. I can finally live my dream and salvage alien artifacts.
It's like Toomes Enterprises.
Yeah, Toomes Enterprises.
He's got like merchandise mugs and everything.
He's got like
he's got a decent crew with him.
Chitauri necklaces. Like, come get your Chitauri necklaces.
Chitauri necklaces. Get your Chitauri. That's good.
Limited edition.
I like that.
I just think that's cool. He must have been excited. I mean, he didn't seem excited. He was like, oh, I got to go to work. But I mean,
it was definitely making a living for him.
Yeah, inside he was like, yeah, and he had his whole crew, which I thought was pretty cool. At first, I was like, who are these guys?
They were dropping Easter eggs right in the beginning.
Yeah. Like I think Scorpion was already there.
I don't think Matt Gargan was part of them yet. No. I don't think he was part of them. But there was a guy.
Some of his people.
Well, they had Herman Schultz, who obviously from the viewers who've seen this, he was the second. Oh, shocker! Because the original guy, was the white dude with the sweater, he was there.
Yeah.
Remember, he's the guy that showed up late.
Yeah, he showed up late to work. And it's like, how are you late to work? And you're like salvaging alien. You know what I mean? Like if my job was to salvage alien, I would be there on early.
I would just sit
I'd be stealing things.
I'd spend the night.
Yeah.
I'd go to work.
But that was a good time. I thought that was really fun just to watch. But then like everything happened, and I could imagine being devastated when you're like, you don't have that job anymore.
They did a really good job of showing, of humanizing him, making him relatable. I know that was kind of the triumphs of Spider-Man 2. Mm-hmm. I think you liked that movie more, even more so than I did. I mean, I was a kid. To be honest, I haven't seen that one. I think that's the least Spider-Man movie I've seen the most out of all of them.
Wow.
I know, right? And that one even outdid the first one, which people said. But
I thought it, yeah.
Well, what did you like about?
I just like Dr. Octopus's haircut. First off, I liked his octopus arms.
That guy had a mad barber.
I like the. Well, I just like the train scene, and there was that one dude who's like, "Yeah, Spider-Man." Yeah, I almost think that was the same guy in this movie.
But Doc Ock was portrayed by Alfred Molina, and a lot of things that I've heard is that people were saying that he was another relatable guy because he just lost his wife in that movie, right?
Yeah,
and he kind of grew as a character throughout.
And I think that's also helpful when villains don't have masks as much, or like they're not like hiding behind something, and like the only thing he's hiding is his arms, but that's different, And like Vulture was kind of similar. Although
he did wear a helmet.
Yeah, he wore his helmet, but he took it off often. Like, like he's like, all right, I want you to see who I am. I'm Michael Keaton.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. But it was cool. It's nice to know that he was relatable because at the end of the day, he was just a regular guy. He wasn't some cosmic being. He was a man that had a daughter and a wife and needed to make ends meet and had a cool job salvaging alien stuff.
Oh, and some small details that he even cared about the other guys that were with him.
Yeah.
You know, like damage. I almost said Damage Incorporated.
Damaging.
Metallica.
Damage and Sons.
But Damage Control was there, and he was like, dude, I got these other guys. Like, it's not just me. It's these other, the crew that I'm with. Like, I got to keep them employed. Mm-hmm. It's like, if you're hurting me, you're hurting all of them.
So I feel like the true villain in this is that woman that Tony Stark sent to Damage
maybe
Control.
Subliminally, the real villain is Tony Stark.
In a way, but I feel like if they would have told Tony Stark that, he would have been like, you know what, I'll give him some workers' comp. Like I'll give him, like, he has all the money he needs. Like, I don't think he realized. I think the city hired, I don't know what it is, Vulture Inc. I think they hired
Tombs and Sons.
Yeah, Tombs and Sons. He has no sons.
Oh, you're right. Damn. Well, his crew could be a son.
Tombs and wife and daughter.
Yeah.
I think that the city hired him before Tony Stark could even make some kind of arrangement with the government or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. No, yeah, that was definitely a good thing.
Yeah, I also like just moving forward. Like the Spidey recording, that was great. That was just fun.
They did a really good job on that. I really did like. I mean, and that could go into things that I enjoyed about the movie too. Is that they didn't really waste any time on unnecessary origins.
Yeah.
We didn't need to know that Uncle Ben was killed for the third time in the cinematic world. We didn't need to know that Spider-Man was bitten by a spider the third time in the cinematic world. Kind of like, you know, how everyone sees Martha and Thomas Wayne constantly die on screen.
Yeah, like we're tired of seeing him die. It's a different actor every time. It's like
and not only that, it's like so they jumped right into it almost immediately with like, he's been Spider-Man for some time. I mean, even in Civil War, when Tony is talking to him and he's like, hey, who's this? Who's this guy on this phone that I'm looking at? Is that you? It's like, he's already been Spider-Man for some time. So it's like, when they did this here, it was like cutting right to the chase. There's no frosting on the cake. It's just cake. And that's what I thought was so gnarly. And then they cover that he's already, you know, they recover us through the events of Civil War. And I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. It's like, it's like it immediately connects him and made him feel part of the MCU. Like he was always there. Mm-hmm. Like he wasn't just like, we got the rights to him.
Here he is.
Yeah. But it's like he was doing some stuff. It's just, it was low key and no one.
And he was with, and they walked us through a completely different angle that we didn't get to see in Civil War. Like he's with Happy Hogan. Yeah. He's going to the airport and he's doing all this. They're in the hotel when he's like wearing his original homemade suit, and Happy's like, what are you wearing? What is this? Where's the briefcase? Where's that thing? Go put it on. What are you doing?
I think he didn't realize there was another door or something.
Yeah.
Like that. He's like, there's what? My room is bigger than this cube.
And that was so cool. Yeah. That whole thing was comical. Like when he's like in the elevator, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, you guys? Hey, what's up? And then he jumps into the Captain America shield stealing scene. He's like, hey, everyone. Yeah. Hello. Hey, hi, my name's Spider-Man. That was cool. And it didn't feel forced. It was just kind of like, here's a new fresh footage of.
Yeah, like it was the same movie, but like his perspective, and it's like,
You know what it reminded me of a lot was, I don't know how familiar you are with them, but the Lord of the Rings movies. That's a lot of what they did. Kind of like after the Hobbits got taken, and then it shows you where they got taken to, what their stuff has been happening to, and then it's like it takes you back to the main characters and all this stuff. So it really intertwined like that. That's what it reminded me of, and I think those are elements that, you know, filmmakers and all writers and all that can like take more into account. I'm excited to see how they're going to tie Black Panther and Thor and stuff. I think that's why I'm most excited.
And that's the kind of storytelling that Marvel, I feel, is in a way like is like creating for themselves, that they're creating interconnected worlds and also characters that they're not just heroes, they're also like they have intersecting identities. Like we see a lot of Tony Stark. He is not just a suit, you know, hence his revelation he's trying to put on Peter, and all these characters just coming from different places and coming together, and it's like they're a shared universe, and it reminds you of that constantly.
Yeah,
you know, and it like Peter is, you know, Stan Lee brings them all together with his, you know, weird, his weird cameos, but like it's cool. It's like
how's your mother?
Yeah, how's your ma? I was actually hoping he was gonna flirt with Aunt May. That's what I was. That's what I thought it was gonna be, but
yeah. You know what? I don't know. I thought I had a good idea for a cameo, and I completely have forgotten what it is now. But I remember I was thinking about it in the shower, and I was like, "Oh, that'd be great, man! I should be a writer."
Was he in the shower with you?
Yeah, right. No. What would have been cool is if he was the old guy. You know the comic I gave you the other day, the Amazing Fantasy.
Yeah.
Of his Spider-Man's debut comic. If they would have recreated that scene of Spider-Man saving this guy, and Stanley would have been the guy that he's holding, I think I probably would have cried.
Yeah,
that would have been so cool.
I almost find it hard to imagine. I know Peter is strong, but I find it hard to imagine him carrying a grown man. Just because Tom Holland's such a small guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I know he picked up Vulture, but like, I don't think they actually showed him.
He picked up a bunch of rubble off of himself too. Yeah.
but you don't see like the drawn out image of him like doing it like as much.
Yeah.
Like if you were to see this young short guy carrying a full grown man, it'll look interesting.
Yeah.
I think it would be too silly to see, but we know it's happening. But because he picked up Vulture.
Yeah, and he picked up that thousands of pounds of rubble off him.
I don't know which one's heavier, but yeah, and I liked Vulture's team though. They were just like a group of randos, but they were not randos team. At the same time.
Dude, that was so. I'm so happy that they put them in there.
I feel like
screamed Sinister Six.
If it was just Vulture, I would have been like, yeah, this is cool, but it was cool to see like Vulture was overseeing.
Well,
them.
and Vulture doesn't work alone.
Yeah,
it's rare that he's like, you know what, I'm gonna go rob somewhere today. I'm gonna go do it by myself. He's like, hey, let me call my buddies up. Hey, Chameleon, what's up, man? Hey, Shocker, what's going on, dude?
Hey, Scorpion, what are you doing today?
Yeah. I know it's hot outside, but hey, you want to like go walk around?
Yeah. How's your mother? Yeah.
Full circle.
No, it's just, I think that's what humanizes Vulture too. He has friends that are also people that are in the same place.
And Tinkerer. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah,
but Tinkerer is something that we haven't seen on screen yet.
Yeah.
So I don't think he called himself the Tinkerer because it's like, how are you going to be a technological badass? Like, what are you going to call yourself? The Tinkerer.
I'm Scorpion. He's Shocker.
I mean, hell, Shocker got made fun of for shocking people.
Yeah.
He's like, well, what kind of name is Shocker anyway? You run around, I shock people.
Yeah.
I thought that was so funny. I was like, oh, man, of course. Yeah, I never thought of that. Like, running around, I'm like, ooh, I got you.
That was a different version of Shocker, too. I was a little disappointed in that. But I thought about it, and I was like, if he had...
Like, how so?
Well, because Shocker shoots blasts.
Yeah.
He shoots blasts of shock. I don't know.
Blasts of carpet.
But he this was just like a punching Shocker, which was cool. I mean, he was just, what's his name? Crossbones.
Yeah.
He was just Crossbones, but like with shock, I guess. Because I don't think that's the same technology. But they made it out of, I don't know.
The Chitauri alloy. Whatever.
Was Crossbones also the same thing?
Yeah, I assume all the weapons that they had were, because I mean they have all the. I'm sorry, you said crossbones. Oh, my bad.
Because Crossbones isn't a shot.
Yeah, like his was some generic ass like Walmart bought
Walmart
stuff.
brand. Yeah, I imagine he got
Radio Shack.
Yeah. Or the Circuit City more maybe.
Yeah.
But like Shocker, and all of them were just cool to see. Like, yeah, he's not alone. Vulture has these guys that are also. Like throwbacks to the old cartoon series that I love, and I was like, "Oh man, he's wearing his same yellow jacket."
And the cartoon series being the animated series, right from the '90s, by good old John Semper Jr.
And that was just so cool.
That was the best cartoon ever.
Yeah, it was a great. Like I think of that as a kid, and I was thinking, like, man, this is such a. I feel like I'm in an experience right now.
Well, honestly, I found myself throughout the movie multiple times being like, "Oh man, this is nostalgia all over again." Mm-hmm. You know, especially with the opening of the Marvel banner, like the little dun 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 dun. I'm like, oh man, like how clever! Like that was so cool. And then seeing Vulture with Shocker and Scorpion, I was like, oh man, if they meet like a Quentin Beck somewhere, they get a Mysterio in there.
The gang's back together.
They meet this guy who has like this shape shifting belt. I'm like, oh, you got Chameleon, and then you just need like Dr. Octopus in there. It's like, I'm really hoping they go that route. Yeah. I mean, we know from Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield that they had.
I heard they casted him, didn't they? They casted Vulture.
I don't know. We know that they had the Sinister Six planned. Yeah. They had all those props and it was in the end credits scene in that movie.
They had the octopus. They had the Vulture suit and some other stuff, some other suits. But I'd say of all the villains. I wasn't hoping for Vulture, but man, was I so happy. I was.
Oh
happy.
man, me too.
Like,
he brought a new level of intimidation.
Yeah.
And that, honestly, this makes me even more excited for Thanos.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this guy, you know, he brought it to the table.
Yeah.
They had so many good plot twists in the movie too. Like maybe not even plot twists, but like unseen foreshadowing that like unexpected scenes.
Yeah.
Especially when Peter picks up Liz from her house for homecoming.
Yeah. And it's like, what?
And he opens the door and it's him and you're like, oh, I didn't see that. I honestly really didn't see that coming.
For sure.
Like,
I didn't either. I was already in mode like, all right, he's going to homecoming. He's going to have a good time. And then nothing's going to happen. I don't know why
I was in sappy mode.
Yeah.
Well, nostalgia. I find myself being like, oh man, I remember doing all that. I remember having to go have my mom help me tie a tie and like have my dad take me to homecoming and give the girl the corsage. Like, I hated that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, I remembered all that. And I'm like, I remember. Oh my God, who is this? Who is this?
This man.
Oh man.
It was like he rang the doorbell. Might as well have been bum 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 bum.
$1, Bob.
Yeah. And then he opens the door, and then like we talked about this a little bit after the movie, but like there's like, you know, we see this white man, Michael Keaton, Vulture, and he has a daughter that's black, and you know, our initial thought was, what?
Stepfather.
Like, yeah, stepfather. Did he kidnap them? Did he like? How did he know? Like what?
Did he tie up their family and he's going to turn a corner and they're tied up and like.
And then like what? But
it wasn't even that.
But it was like
it was something even more simpler.
It was just that was his marriage.
It was family.
Yeah, it was
That's
family.
all it was.
And I think I like that a lot because it's a curveball, but it's like it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like it's like we should be like, oh yeah, he can love anyone he wants. There was no awkward like, oh yeah, we met each other on, I don't know, like, you know, some weird backstory. Like there's no like there's just love. If it was a white woman with a white daughter, like we would have been like, oh yeah, that's of course. But like I thought it was really cool that there's this expectation that they're throwing on us, like that this is a family. Like all families look different.
Marvel's breaking those social barriers, man.
Yeah, you know,
planting seeds here and there. It's like this is a new age, people.
Yeah, and it wasn't even there was no random either thing like, oh, Liz was adopted.
Yeah,
or like, you know,
like that's exactly what I was waiting. I was waiting for someone to be like, oh yeah, we met each other online on eFind or something, you know,
and that's her daughter, and not mine, you know, like, but no, it was like
that was biologics.
Yeah, and it was just like a regular day, and it's like that's how households.
And that's one thing. It's like I don't even know how many people really thought of that. For all we know, it could have just been you and me, and just like, oh well, okay.
And I think of it too, like it should. What if they even took it a step further and made it like, I don't know, like a gay household, or like, you know, or something, like it should still be like, yeah, that works. Like there's no problem there. Like
yeah.
It's just because you never know who's gonna be a vulture, or you know anyone could be a vulture.
I don't know, man. The job application specifically states.
And like, you know, there's just, I don't know, I think that it was cool for them to throw that in. I thought it was subtle, and it just I feel like people probably looked at it and were like, no way, he can't be the father, and whatever. But like,
this movie screamed diversity.
Yeah,
and that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty neat.
So that was super cool. But like talking about like surprises, my biggest surprise was when Spider-Man met with Donald Glover, and Donald Glover was like, hey, you can't leave me here. I have ice cream in my trunk. Like that was a big surprise for me.
That part was so funny. That was hilarious. It's like, oh, that webbing will dissolve in 2 hours. What 2 hours? No. You got to fix this now. I got ice cream in here. That was you, man. That was you.
I love that. I would just, please, Spider, please. All I want is my ice cream. But I thought like surprises. If I'm being surprised, it was how funny I thought the movie was.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of expected it to be funny. To be honest, that was what I was afraid of. I was like, man, this movie is going to be too funny, and we're not going to get enough Spider-Man. We're not going to get enough Robert Downey Jr. We're not going to get enough conflict, and we got a little bit of everything. We got plenty of comedy. I mean, it was a comedy movie written as a superhero movie, so I mean. Under that guise, that kind of works. Yeah. If you kind of make a superhero movie and write it as a comedy,
it just doesn't. It just always doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't work.
I can't see Batman giving quips like, "I thought she was with you." After he spent the whole like first half of the fucking movie trying to find her,
being like,
hey, you should come over to this party me and Clark Kent are having. We're fighting Doomsday, and then she shows up.
She comes.
He's like, is she with you? Oh, I thought she was with you.
And she shows up the most prepared out of either. But that's a different story. But like I thought the movie, the genre wise, I liked the high school, like kind of, I don't know, high school drama-esque kind of genre. Like, we got.
It definitely had that.
Like, it's not a traditional superhero story necessarily.
It had that 80s movie feel to me. Like, I've seen a lot of 80s movies because my sisters were big into the 80s movies, like Pretty in Pink and, I don't know, like Goonies and a bunch of other classics. But, like, that's what it reminded me of. All the crazy drama, all the crazy awkward moments. Like, this movie screamed awkward.
Yeah.
Like, just like.
It was awkward, like, at time. But it was
it was an adorable awkward.
Yeah, it was like, oh, I remember that.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, oh, I remember asking that girl out or, whatever, like, for going to homecoming or trying to go to homecoming. And it was cool. Like, it was nice. And I noticed Marvel does this a lot with movies nowadays. Like, with they're not just standard, like, oh, he's a hero that gains superpowers from something, he or she. And then it's like, because we got Ant-Man, who it's a heist movie. It's not necessarily like, it just feels different.
And he's got a criminal background.
Yeah, it's just a different type of
theme.
Movie. Yeah. I also am all about these, just like the supporting role too. I feel like a lot of supporting characters are also more people of color. I'd like to see more protagonists be that, but like it's a step. We got Black Panther, we got
I mean, you got Falcon, you got War Machine. But yeah, I understand. Like, they're just kind of like side characters.
Yeah,
but I mean, I'm pumped for Panther because they're making him a protagonist. Yeah, that's gonna be cool. Yeah.
We need a Mexican hero. I could do it. I wouldn't mind.
John Contreras, starring as
Contreras Lord. I don't know, Spider Contreras,
Spider Lord.
Yeah, it's just a cool thought just to think that like I liked Ned. Ned was a really cool character. He was a good friend. I wish I had a friend like that. I wish someone came over to my house and
might not like that. Is that what you're telling me?
You don't come over to my house and tell me to let's build a Death Star.
And I have you. I don't have you come build a Death Star. I come have you make a friggin' podcast. Ooh. Boom, boom, boom. Lost.
I lost that one. Anyways, it was just a great supporting role though, and I really liked Karen.
Well, no, sorry, yeah.
Go ahead.
To branch off what you were saying though is there were multiple points in this movie where Ned should have been upset with Peter. Like, hey man, you left me at that party. Like, hey man, you're ignoring me because you've got these spider powers, and it's like he didn't do that at all. Like you mentioned when they were in the when he tracked Donald Glover's character to the under the bridge and they're selling him that portal gun. And then he's like, there was an explosion. He's like, his first thing wasn't like, well, you deserved it because you left me. His reaction was, oh man, are you okay? That was his initial reaction. And it's like, he was just constantly there, like supporting. It's like, yeah, he knew his identity and he knew how important it was to Peter. And he was just constantly there. And that was really cool.
A jolly character.
Yeah.
He was there at the party with his cool hat. I love that hat.
I call it the Indiana Jones hat. That's what he looked like.
And he said, it gives him confidence.
Yeah.
I love that. Funny. I love that. But I thought it was cool that, because when Spider-Man or Peter was looking down, he's like, oh, there he is. I'm going to jump in. He was rehearsing like, hey, how y'all doing? My friend Peter here. I love that guy. Oh, Ned too. I love that guy too. And then, leave. But he saw the explosion, did what he had to do. It's like a coming of age, maturing story. And Ned was mature too. He was like, it's cool. You left. I get it. I was at the party. I had a good time. I bet he had a great time.
Actually, he didn't. He said that.
Oh yeah.
Remember he said like Flash Thompson was making fun of Peter while he behind his back.
Oh yeah.
When I say penis, you say Parker. Penis.
Yeah, Parker. But yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, so he didn't have a good time, but he was like, you know what? I'm gonna suck it up because Peter did something that was much more impactful than that night ever could have been to me.
Yeah.
Like I'm here to support him. Hey, were you okay? Let me know when you need. I'll be your chair guy.
Yeah, most definitely.
I will support you willingly. Then he gets the chance later.
It's almost kind of like Tony supporting Peter throughout the movie as well. Like, you didn't really get that vibe, but you definitely got that more like overprotective father vibe. And I really like how they tied it in you know, you see you see Tony's daddy issues start coming out in this movie. And that's that one thing from, like, they touched on in Iron Man 2. They touched on in the beginning of Civil War. He didn't get along with his dad very well. And he didn't really have that support from his dad. But it's kind of like, that started coming out through him. I mean, there's that specific part when he's like, oh man, I sound just like my father.
Yeah. It's that subtle support too. Like I know Tony realizes, like, yeah, his dad did love him and did, like, but it's just how he did it. He didn't, like, Tony didn't like. And Peter in a way doesn't like it either. You know, Peter's like, well, I want you to, why can't you trust me? He's like, and now Tony realizes why his dad maybe didn't want to bring him into that kind of world or trust him with that stuff, you know?
It's dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous and scary. And it's like, do you want that for your son or your child in general? Like, do you want to put what you've been through on them, even though it kind of made you the great person you are, you know? Like, it's
well, and Tony's had time to establish being Iron Man. Like, he's been Iron Man, and, you know, and it's like he doesn't want Peter to experience all the negativity that he's been, like, when you think about it, like, Tony just lost one of his, like, best friends.
Yeah.
You know, like, Steve, his relationship with Steve Rogers is gone. His whole team is disintegrated. His best friend is paralyzed now.
Yeah. And it's like,
you know, and it's like, up until that point, we assumed that his relationship with Pepper Potts was gone too. You know, but obviously that's not the case, as we got to see at the end of the movie. Yeah. But
fortunately,
you know,
for him,
he's carrying a lot of stuff. He's seen some shit, so to speak. He's seen it. And he doesn't want Peter to experience that either. So I really like how they brought that out and almost gave Peter a reason to step up multiple times, because he could have easily just been like, all right, you know what? Fine, I'm going to back off. I guess I just won't be Spider-Man.
Yeah, and I think the responsibility of growing up is you kind of have to, like, also challenge people, like, what they say. Like, you can't, like, no one follows their parents' rules to a T. Yeah, like, no one. I mean, maybe some people do, and I'm sure there's nothing wrong with that. But I think there's something about doing that, but also staying within that boundary at the same time. Like, you have to balance it. You can't just be all out. Like, I'm not gonna care what my parents say, or I'm not. And, like, I feel like extremes are just a little difficult. But, like, he tried to listen, didn't work. Then he tried doing his own thing, didn't work.
He tried asking for help, and that didn't work either.
And it's like, just eventually, like, all of them are learning. Like, Tony's like, you know what? I'm not being the best support, maybe. Or maybe I'm being too supportive. Maybe I'm not being, you know, and Peter, same thing. Like, maybe I'm not listening to him enough, or maybe I'm not speaking enough, or maybe, you know, and it's like, but they came to a resolution eventually. Like, they didn't give up on each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe.
I mean,
like Tony kind of gave up on him because he took the suit away.
I don't know if that's giving up on him, though. I feel like that's him
being cut off his allowance.
Yeah. Because, like, when a parent stops, you know, when a parent grounds you, they're not giving up on you. They're saying, you need time. You need some time out.
Yeah.
And I think for Tony, Tony was like, you're in timeout for, like, a day, and then he saves the world.
I'm gonna take your super suit away.
Yeah,
honey, where's my super suit?
But you know, he grounded him basically. He didn't, like, I don't see him as, like, he didn't trust him anymore. He's like, I don't trust you for right now because you did something dumb.
Yeah,
and I need you to understand that with great power comes great response.
Hey, I'll take it, man.
With a lot of power comes a lot of responsibility.
So what is it when you have great gifts and you don't use them right? Bad things can happen. They said that, like, in Civil War or something. I was like, oh man, come on. But hey, I mean, and I kind of like that though, because the underlying theme throughout this movie was that Peter was the underdog the whole time, and that is how he was written as a character. When Stan Lee originally made his concept, you know. The way Stan Lee was directed to write comics back in the day was like, I want all action. I want, just make a good fight scene, do all this stuff. No one wants to read dialogue. And he wanted to create a character who was flawed. And so he made Peter Parker this nerd, you know, really smart kid, really bright, but
somewhat scrawny. Yeah.
Like, ultimately he was the underdog, and he became, like, this movie was him overcoming his underdog status. And I think you get to see that climax at the end of the movie when he lifts all the rubble off him. After he realizes he's completely by himself, you realize as a viewer that Iron Man's not going to come save him, that there really is no one there, and Vulture's about to win. Mm-hmm. And he lifts all that rubble off him. I thought that was so cool. That was like the iconic scene throughout the movie.
Yeah, he lifted the weight off his shoulders. Like,
literally.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool. But man, that suit at the end though,
shiny, the super rhinestoned out.
that was like a level 9 paladin.
Yeah. He gets like new abilities. He could double jump.
His persuasion level was up like 10 points.
He gets a persuasion mode.
A double jump? Is that what he pressed A twice?
Yeah, if you press A twice, he jumps twies.
I'm hoping we see that come out in Infinity War. I mean, obviously that's the biggest rumor right now is that's going to be his Infinity War suit. That suit screamed Iron Spider suit from Civil War comic book, the red and gold. So I don't know. I'm kind of glad he didn't take the suit at the end. He's kind of like, I have this life to live. I have Aunt May still. I still kind of want to be a kid. I don't want to. I thought I wanted this.
And I have a home. I have New York, not upstate New York, but New York. Like, where's from? Queens?
Queens.
Like, that's my home, and that's where I want to protect. There's things that happen on a small level that the Avengers don't pick up on because they think it's too small. Mm-hmm. Like Vulture. But Peter is there to like see it and address it if he can, and now he feels confident.
And even Tony said that. that's why he called the FBI. Like, they didn't even want to deal with Vulture. He's like, I got someone else to do it because it's below the Avengers pay grade. It's kind of like, well, this is kind of why you need a friendly neighborhood.
Yeah.
So
that's great. But I want to mention one last thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tony, I don't know if you noticed Tony Stark when he was in the car with Peter talking about his pep talk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like we'll call you, that kind of thing. He had this really cool shirt on. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh no, what was it?
It has kittens on it. It was. I'm not even joking. There were kittens on it, and he had just a blazer on. I was like, dude, this man's down there.
Like, I'm gonna wear that to work on Monday. Peter had some funny. He had some punny shirts too. Like find X, and he had like X square, X circled on the shirt. That was funny.
It made me feel like they're real. Like they're similar. Like they're not related by blood, but. Mm-hmm. Tony, he always wears shirts like that. He always had those dumb.
He had that Bruce Lee one with like the turntables.
Yeah, he's always got like band shirts, like another
Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And Peter, I feel like I can't remember his attire in the whole movie, but I remember that shirt.
He just had a bunch of funny shirts like that.
Yeah, and it's like that's cool. Like they're actually
something you and I would
similar.
wear.
I would wear that. You're wearing an Iron
I'm
Man
wearing
shirt.
Right now? Yeah, I am wearing an Invincible Iron Man shirt right now.
I'm just wearing a tank top because it's hot. But I just thought that was cool, and I like that he had the cat shirt on. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like Tony Stark could wear any other attire, like a suit, like what he normally wears. But when he's like, I don't know, he's casual. Mm-hmm. He's just a guy too, just like Peter. And I don't know if that was a stylistic choice of actually just Robert Downey Jr. just wearing a shirt and being like, hey, we'll just do it live.
Right. He's like, I just got out of the shower, but let's go.
Like let's just record it. Or if it was like a choice, like I want you to wear like a more casual shirt, and put a blazer on it, and call it a day.
So real quick before we wrap up here, because we're kind of going a little bit over on our time, but what do you think the significance of the ending after credit scenes are?
What do
you think that's going to bring?
America?
Obviously, both. Obviously, I've been doing a lot of reading on Yahoo and stuff and various sources, but because of the success of the Marvel movies, so like this weekend, it is pretty much fact that Sony and Marvel will team up to do another Spider-Man movie and maybe other movies in the future. So, like, what do you think the significance of the prison scene with the Vulture and Matt Gargan is?
I'm thinking possibly Sinister Six. But part of me thinks that Vulture wouldn't want to be part of it.
Why is that?
Well, maybe he might be pushed into it, but like, because I think he respects Spider-Man.
Yeah, after he saved him,
like,
right?
He saved him, and he's like, I don't think he would want to kill Peter out of malice. Mm-hmm. I think he knows, like, okay, this kid saved me. He tried to stop me from blowing up in the first place, but I didn't listen.
And he could have left his family. Like, the family did ultimately suffer. Like damage. But it could have been a lot worse with Adrian Toomes dying.
Yeah, then they would have had no parent. Yeah. But I think Spider-Man was like, I got to save these interracial relationships. I got to save him. Like,
if it was a regular family, we would have just been like, whatever.
If it was just a white family, he would have been like, you know what, I don't know. I like that they didn't kill him. I feel like they've killed a lot of villains. It's kind of like the villain of the month thing. Yeah. Villain of the movie, whatever. But I like that they kept him alive. Keeps possibilities alive. And hopefully we do see a Sinister Six movie. That'd be kind of neat. Yeah.
I'd love to see.
That'd be really cool.
Honestly, I'd really like to see Kraven's Last Hunt.
I want to see more tech like how they had the Vulture. Like, that was cool. Like,
it was really awesome.
Yeah.
It wasn't cheesy. I feel like they always they make a good like reason behind a sound effect. Like the turbines were like the screech sound effect. That was
it wasn't obnoxiously green. Yeah. Like, you know, it was cool. Yeah. It was like that was his suit.
And then the Captain America scene.
That was just dumb.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of mad.
My dad
was kind of upset
actually today because I told my dad, "Hey, when you go see Spider-Man, make sure you stay after the credits." And he's like, "All right, cool." And he stood there. He said he exaggerated. He's like, "I was there 30 minutes after, waiting."
I was there for an hour. The next showing started. Yeah. I was still there.
When I walked into my dad's house just to like say hello and stuff, he's like, "Oh, I saw the credits." And I'm like, "Yeah." What'd you think? Wasn't it awesome? And then he's like, "I'm gonna whoop your ass." And I was like, "Oh man,
don't whoop his ass, whoop Marvel's ass." I felt cheated. I'm not gonna lie, I felt cheated, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad they didn't reveal anything. I'm kind of getting tired of all the revealing stuff.
You gotta be patient.
Well, and that's why I found this movie so exciting, because I literally watched the first trailer, and that was all I watched.
Yeah,
I forced myself not to watch anything else.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what viewers can do. If they feel disappointed with movies, maybe you could discipline yourself a little bit and just watch the first trailer, and then that's it.
And call it a day. Just
then
wait.
Your expectations are so low that you'll never be disappointed.
Yeah.
Kind of like me in life.
And with that.
Yeah. And with that does indeed wrap up our first episode of the Nerd Sandwich Podcast. John, thanks for coming over today, man.
Yeah, no problem.
It was a good talk, and join us next time, you guys. Thanks for listening in, and we'll catch you next time on The Bite.